Hi everyone, Sully here from Black Ops Toys, coming at you today with something we've been thinking about for a long time. It's a different kind of video. I've been getting a lot of comments recently that I've been mulling over in my head about how to address. We came up with a list. It's a top 10 list, and it's how somebody wants to get started in 1/6 scale hobby, on a limited budget. When I got started, boxed figures, I remember my first boxed figure set was like that my grandma purchased for me was a Dragon twin pack of Matt and Jeff from Black Hawk Down from Dragon Models. That figure pack was about $80, I want to say. And I bought lots starting out. I bought BBI figures for $30, $40, $50, $60, and we've seen prices obviously go up. So 20 years later, here we are, and box figures are now 200 plus, and for certain brands. And with that, you get a lot more detail, a lot better quality, and a lot of innovation, especially as far as 1/6 scale goes, right? It's not, the new latest and greatest E&S figure is not like the old school BBI figures, right? So we can't really compare the two. Starting out, I bought figures, and they came with a lot of parts, and I would take the parts and I would customize and make my own figures and be left over with parts, start to sell the parts. Anyway, the small business thing. But when I got started, it was considerably cheaper, but in today's economic environment, it's considerably more expensive. So here's some tips. Number 9 is my favorite, so hope you stay around till then. But I'll kind of read these off. We came up with the list over the past 5 days on this road trip. So number 1, start small. Tip number 1, start small. It can be tempting to buy everything you see, but it's better to begin with a few figures or pieces that you really love. Focus on quality over quantity. This way, you can manage your budget better and avoid overspending. Tip number 2, buy loose gear. These are figures that aren't in their original packaging and are usually cheaper. We have thousands of loose gear items on the website, and you can also check out online marketplaces like eBay. You can find great deals on used figures that are still in fantastic condition that you can kit bash with. Number 3, always be on the lookout for sales and discounts. So from Black Ops Toys, if you sign up for our newsletter, follow our social media channels, you find discounts and savings pretty much weekly that we do. And take advantage of those, right? Because sometimes they're really good deals, and there's certain times to buy, like right away. So always be on the lookout for new discounts. Number 4, join online communities. There are tons of forums, Facebook groups, even Reddit communities where collectors share tips, trade figures, and sell items at reasonable prices. Engaging with these communities can also help you learn more about the hobby. All right, so number 5, once you get in those online communities, trade with other collectors. Trading is a fantastic way to come up with loose fodder that you can use on future projects without spending money. So if you have stuff you're not using and you find somebody else that needs that stuff and he has stuff that you want, it's a great way to move the community forward. Tip number 6. Here's one I think a lot of people just starting out don't think of. Attend local toy shows, flea markets, and garage sales. Yes, I found figures, and we go antiquing to antique stores, and believe it or not, there's some antique stores in my local area, of all things, that had a bunch of Dragon model figures that somebody had come in and the antique store had put up, and I would go in and cleared it out. So there are those gold mine finds, especially in local communities, and when you have cash in hand, you get a much better deal when you're dealing direct with somebody that wants to sell said figures. So that's a great tip, seriously. Be on the hunt for garage sales, be on the hunt for, toy shops, stuff like that, old school toy stores. It's hard to find 1/6 scale at all, really. It's a very niche industry, and it's very, very small product releases. Small meaning, a typical figure release is typically 300 to 500 units, except if you get into the Hot Toys level. Hot Toys is carried by comic book stores and stuff like that, so they're producing 10,000, 20,000 units of something. But most of the military stuff, which we dig, is very small batch, so 300, 500 units, and then it's done, and you can't find it again, and that's why you see values go up, because people are searching for those figures on the secondary market. Tip number 7, focus on one line or brand of series of figures that you're passionate about. So with me, it's modern military, right? I dig modern military stuff, and I am fortunate enough to be able to buy most new releases because we sell that product. But really, if you focus on one category, like you love Vietnam and you dig Vietnam, buy Vietnam figures. Keep your focal point on those figures which you enjoy best, that you're going to kit bash with the most. So if you love World War II, same deal. Buy World War II figures. They're all over the place. World War II is typically cheaper if you're just getting started. But, if you want the high-speed, latest and greatest modern kit, you're kind of limited. So tip number 8, consider DIY customization. Do it yourself, And that's a huge thing in this industry, believe it or not. And with the evolution of the 3D printers and stuff you can do with that, you can make a lot of kit that you see on the shelves right now. It just takes time, and you have to master by practicing that craft. So there's a lot of ways to do it yourself. If you see something that you want and you can't find it in the 1/6 scale community, then you can make it yourself, and that's how a lot of the innovation comes around. So always be creative. That's a huge deal. So number 9, this is my favorite, and this is something that I truly thought for a long time about. But the best way to save money initially in this industry is, if you see a pre-order product on our website, that's the time to secure the lower price. Okay. Once that product actually hits the States, it's a secondary market and prices go up. And there's no resupplies of these. It's very rare. Sometimes we get a re-release, like the new General's Armory, Ghost figure, GA1007. We got lucky and scored a re-release of that, very small batch, but that's a rare thing. But if you see a lot of the boxed figure and you think you can use a lot of it, pre-order it, because that's the best time to get the best price. So it guarantees a lower price. And finally, tip number 10, this one is long, but if you see a mint figure, you'll use at least 60% of those parts in the box. It's worth saving money and spending it all on that figure, okay? Instead of trying to piecemeal and buy parts. A lot of times, the accumulation of loose parts is more expensive than the box figure, especially in this case. But if you see a figure and you like a lot of those pieces, like you're really like, wowed, I love that, I love that, I love that, definitely get the boxed figure and put that money, that hard-earned dollar, towards something you're going to use a majority of. And bonus tip, number 11, if you're just starting out, these things are really cool. This is not a cheap hobby by any sense. It's very fun and rewarding, enjoyable. And I had to wait till I was an adult to actually start to play with these, if that makes sense. But just starting out, there's some entry-level brands that do a good job of getting you into the hobby itself and practicing and learning about building techniques and stuff like that. And the cheaper brands that I would recommend would be, for Vietnam, Yujindu is definitely, top right now. For modern, an older BBI figure, a mini times figure, a current release mini times figure, are sub 150 to sub 100, and that's a great entry-level product to get you started and to kind of show you how things work. As soon as you buy one of those figures, like say an older BBI figure for $60 to $100, and then you build it and you see how it works, and then you buy say an ENS figure or a Damn Toys figure or R figure, you're going to see the quality difference. You can compare and contrast and kind of see the progression of where we're at now versus where we were 15 years ago. So definitely there are some smaller brands you can start out with, and if you start out with say mini times figures and you buy one mini times, you buy two mini times, the parts are all compatible between the two, and that is typically a real good helping point, because you don't have to ask questions like, is this going to fit with this, is this going to work with this, is this going to work with this. Most parts are interchangeable. Does take a little bit of know-how and watching some build videos and stuff like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list of what you can do as a new collector to enter into the hobby. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, or if you have any questions that you want to ask, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and we'll actually do a video answering those questions. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a great day.